guys, Bart coming to you from TST Industries in Florida, bringing you another episode of TST Garage. In this episode, we'll be installing an LED flasher relay on a 2016 and up Honda CBR500R, and for the purpose of the installation of this component, the CB500F is actually the same and it requires the same steps. So those of you that own that bike can follow the same steps. What does this component actually do? Once you replace your OEM signals with an aftermarket signaling system that uses LEDs and draws much less current than the OEM setup, you'll notice that you have a fast flash rate. So to combat that, you can either wire in resistors, which is cumbersome and it leaves heated elements dangling around in your trunk or wherever you installed them, or you could just replace your OEM relay with this nice nifty plug-and-play aftermarket unit that plugs right in, fixes your flash rate to 85 cycles per minute, and it's also adjustable. You can access the little blue adjuster here by slipping off the gray cover and turning it clockwise or counterclockwise to dial in that flash rate that you like. All right, so the installation of this component is pretty straightforward, with the exception of having to gain access to underneath the gas tank. So we'll show you this step by step. Follow along, and I hope you guys enjoy. All right, in step one, we'll be using a 5mm Allen to remove the driver's seat off the bike. We'll peel back on the seat and unscrew the screws. I actually leave them captive in there. Makes the reinstallation of the seat a little bit easier. Once the seat is off, we will remove the side under tank panels here. It's done once again with a 5mm Allen. And then we'll need a tiny screwdriver to reset the center of a pushpin. Pushpin is located right here. If you reset the center of it, it basically unlocks itself. So push the center in, that unlocks it. You can lift it out, and now this panel's free to come out. So there are a number of friction fasteners that are inserted into rubber grommets underneath, so we just need to pull straight out. And then once we get to the front, there is a U-channel fastener that fits onto a piece of rubber that's on the tank, and that needs to be taken down. All right, we'll put that to the side. Repeat the procedure on the other side of the bike. All right, now we have access to the center tank mount here, and next step, we'll be removing the tank screw that holds the tank to the frame. All right, so in this following step, we will be removing this nut. It is a 10mm hex nut. Socket is the perfect tool. And now, since the bolt is free, you can just push it through and move the tank around as you pull on it, and that'll withdraw. So now these two 8mm screws will need to be taken out. I'm using an 8mm socket. And at this point, we should have access to underneath the tank. We'll lift it up and gain access to this compartment here. Now, you don't want to move this tank too far back because the fuel line's here and you have overflow lines on the other side. We just need enough room to get our hands on this component here. This is the relay. It's mounted in on a rubber keeper that sits on this tab here. So for this installation, we'll be removing this rubber keeper and placing it on the side here, it will be replaced on our component. And the plug for the relay removes by pressing in this tab and sliding it off. All right, we can grab our TST Industries relay. And to prep it for installation, I'm going to pull back on the mounting tab like this and get our rubber keeper inserted. And now we'll basically just plug it in. Really that simple. It snaps, lets you know that it's engaged, and now you can get it in place. If you plan to adjust your flash rate, I would suggest that you do it at this point. I'm just going to keep it at 85 cycles per minute, so I'm just going to put it back in place and get my tank back to its mount location, making sure that everything is engaged properly. You have these rubber grommets here that have a tendency to slide out. Make sure that they are pressed in as far as possible before you get the tank mount back on. And now I'd like to show you guys what our installation yielded. All right, so as you can see, hyperflash is gone. We're flashing at the correct rate, and it's a pretty simple installation. So from this point forward, we're basically just going to reinstall everything in the reverse order of disassembly. I'm not going to provide much of a commentary because it's really simple. The one thing before the end of this video that I wanted to mention is that this particular motorcycle, its electrical system allows for the signals to remain active if you have them activated on your control switch, even if the bike is shut off. So you have to make sure that you don't drain your battery by keeping your signals on all night. Pretty simple to tell if they're flashing. Your control light on the dash is flashing, and so are the signals. So just keep that in mind before you purchase this type of a device. This is one of the things we can't steer around. So now I'll just proceed with the reinstallation of all the parts, and then we'll be ready to go. And there you have it. This bike is ready to go. We have a nice 85 cycle per minute flash rate. I'll test it one more time. All right, I'm pleased with this. It took literally about 5 minutes. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and we'll see you next time.